Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Walking with Randy, although again it is Writing with Randy today. Working with your short-term goals for meeting your spouse's needs in marriage. Hello everyone, Randy Carney here again with another session of Walking or Writing with Randy, where we talk about writing, speaking, coaching, marketing, and marriage. Today we are again talking about marriage. The last few blog posts that we have done have been based on step 4 of 7 steps toward meeting each other's needs. So we came up with a list of felt needs. We ranked those lists. We traded those lists with each other. We decided to use the information in those lists to help us understand our spouse better. And now we're actually into the nitty-gritty of working toward projects or actions that will help us to accomplish this goal of making our spouse feel better about the marriage. And part of the reason why they will feel better about it is because their needs will be met. So at this step, we're talking about making adjustments to your time focus. Time is the stuff that life is made of. What you cannot put into a time, you cannot put into life. So the first part of this, dealing with making adjustments to our time focus, we said that we need to reorder our priorities. Since you found out what was important to your spouse, and depending on how much of a revelation that was for you, you may find that you need to reorder your priorities. Then last time we talked about looking at your long-term goals. So the long-term goals came from the lifetime goals, broken down into yearly goals. And then breaking the yearly goals down into quarterly goals. So now we want to work with our short-term goals. How did we come up with those short-term goals? We took the quarterly goal and break it down to weekly and daily goals. That goals should be the same for the week and the days, just different projects you do, different actions you try to take on a daily basis. So you go from quarterly to weekly to daily. And once we have done that, then we find out that we are going to more than likely have to cut something out of our already busy schedules. Now, if you have a freedom of schedule where you can add things in, if you're retired, maybe you don't have as long of a scheduled work day and you have more time flexibility, you can do that. If you work for yourself and you've done all the hard work and you're past the stage where you're working 80 hours a week on your own business, and you have that time flexibility, you're in good shape. Otherwise, you may have to find something to cut out. It may be that it would be something that would be good, something you enjoy doing, but you are putting a higher priority on your marriage and on focusing on your spouse and helping to meet your spouse's felt need. So you look in your schedule to find where you can cut, or if you have the luxury of where you can add minutes to your day, more than likely you'll have to find something to cut. Then you go through and you add projects to your schedule. At least a few times a week. Ideally, it would be you would be working toward you taking some action toward meeting your spouse's number one felt need. Or if you have been doing really good at meeting that number one need, you just go down the list and you find something that has become apparent to you that you have not done as well at meeting that need as perhaps you thought you had, or really you just didn't realize how important it was for your spouse. So you find that, and then you go add into your schedule daily projects toward meeting your spouse's needs. For instance, one of those things says that a spouse may have a need for recreational companionship. Well, if that is the case for one or the other, and you have not engaged in that very much, you might start looking for ways to add recreational activities into your weekly schedule. That is just one. If you are a husband and your wife has a need for affection and romance, it might be that you might want to bite the bullet and watch perhaps a romantic movie with your wife. Now, I'll talk about biting the bullet. My wife and I have spent some times doing those things together, and of course those are not my greatest idea of having fun, but actually I found out that I have found many of those that I really do enjoy. Just don't let the rest of the men hear that I said that. Okay? And men, I'm sorry if I'm causing problems for your marriage. But you could find something different. One of the things that you can do in this affection area, if you do not kiss your wife very often, you might make a list of, say, I'm going to kiss my wife at 3 different times during the day. Those are just some ideas. Schedule some ideas. One person figured out that the way that he could do this, making time for his wife, was to leave work at 5:30. Well, I have found out that you usually are not going to get it all done anyway. And so instead of saying 2 hours later trying to get all your work done, sometimes you're just as well off to go home and come back, and it'll still be there tomorrow. But those are some examples of how you could try to come up with daily goals or projects that would help you to meet your husband or wife's felt needs, their most important felt needs. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. If you would like more tips like these, go to randysblogs.com and click on the tab that says marriage, and that will take you all to all the marriage posts. You can also get books on marriage at amazon.com. Just do a search for Randy Carney or Dr. Randy Carney, and those books should come up. The first 2 books in the 6-book series is 21 Ways the Principle of Leaving Will Benefit Your Marriage. The second one is From Mountains to Molehills, Overcoming and Celebrating Your Differences in Marriage. The next book to come out will be about valuing your spouse. The one following that will deal with physical and spiritual intimacy.